Hello and welcome back to the Celtic Way post-match reaction. Celtic 2, Hearts 0. Engels and McCowan make the difference as Celtic stay invincible, is Ryan's headline on that. I'm Tony Haggerty at a Haggerty10 on the X or Twitter handle, and I am joined as always by Ryan McGinley at the Ryan McGinley, and pleasure to have your company tonight on the Celtic Way after Celtic's fifth victory on the spin, Ryan. Little bit of history created in the process, not conceding a goal for the first time in the first 5 games since 1906. Kasper Schmeichel, 5 clean sheets. Well done to him. You were there, Ryan. How was it for you, sir, as they say?
So, I would say.
So?
Dominance, yes, but I don't think the performance was there for 90 minutes, if I'm being perfectly honest. There is high standards now when you're watching Celtic. They did get the 2 goals in the end. I was delighted for Luke McCowan, delighted for Arne Engels, for that was a good moment for both of those players. But I think if they had their shooting boots on, it could have and should have been so much more. But I just think that the final ball was just not there today. They were either taking one touch too many, or they were allowing themselves to get dispossessed, or they were careless on the ball. I thought it was the poorest performance of the season thus far, and even then I don't think they were in that much danger against Hearts. No. But I think a better team would have punished Celtic today, if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. I also think that if Kyogo scores, the mood music's different, isn't it? I think that kind of set the tone for what came after that. He's running through 1-on-1, Ryan. You put your house, your mortgage, your life savings on him, burying that, and he hits it the wrong side of the post. And it's, I just think that set the tone. I agreed with the manager. The manager said they never gave up. They kept fighting. They kept at it and got their reward. And people already in the comments saying, Thomas Burns saying both penalty decisions were spot on, and Mark McQueen saying the same thing, penalty decisions were completely correct. Now, it was a kind of tale of 2 penalties, Ryan. One given, one not given. The scales one, I don't know if you've had the chance to see it again, or if you've watched it back. That's the right decision. Scales doesn't know where the ball is, does he?
No, it's too close. The proximity is too close to Liam Scales, and I thought the referee actually made the wrong decision to begin with. I thought he would have let it go, and then if VAR needed to intervene, then it would have in the next stoppage of play. So that was the reason that I thought that it was a bit weird that the referee gave that without the sort of the usage of VAR. Thankfully, VAR came to Celtic's rescue and the rescue of the referees, because it would have been the wrong decision if it was given. It was far too close. I've watched it a couple of times. It's one of those ones that you'd feel hard done by last season, but you know that the rules have changed. And,
yes, they have changed.
Yeah, and the rules have changed, and managers know that. The managers know that the rules have changed. So if anybody's saying that that's the wrong decision is ignoring what they've been told at the beginning of the season. It's clearly not a penalty. I got to be honest, for the second one, I was almost waving that away straight away, because I was like, that's the same. But and I've not actually had the chance to have a second look at it, but I presume that the arms outstretched.
The arms outstretched. The silhouette.
Yeah, and it was a good cross. It was going to be a good cross into the box. It was stopped by the player. The only question I've got is, why was it not a yellow card for the player?
But then again, yellow card, he leaves the field, doesn't he, for a second yellow?
Is that Penrice? Was that Penrice?
Penrice, yeah, that's who did it. Yeah, who planted one on Arne Engels for no reason, and copped a booking, didn't he? I believe, or he didn't cop a booking actually. Can't remember. I just remember he had a nibble at Engels, and I'm not so sure if the ref let that one go, and then eventually booked him. But he had been booked, and he would have been walking off the park, Ryan. I think the international break maybe had a lot to do with Celtic. The manager was saying he was trying to pick up the fluency again, trying to, get everything going, that momentum, the rhythm again, and the speed. Obviously, he introduced Arne Engels to the team, and he's still getting up to speed, but there was flashes of real quality from him, I thought, Ryan.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's there's so much more to come from. I think we only just seen a small amount of what he can do. But there was that one turn that he had in the first half where he totally left his man for dead, and it was a great showing of his quality on the ball. I thought that volley that he had, he was so unlucky with that. Should have scored with the first chance that he got really early on.
I thought he should have scored with the first chance if I'm being overly critical. But maybe I don't think I am. I thought he should have scored the first chance.
You've got to score them. Those are sitters, in my opinion. Johnson put it on a plate for Arne Engels. Probably unfortunately, one of the only good things Alistair Johnson did today, because I thought he had a really, really off game. But I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's just coming back from an injury and international break as well. But, the signs bode well. The early signs bode very well for Arne Engels. You can see the quality that the player has got, his weight of pass. The one thing I would say to him is that he won't get that amount of time in the Champions League. He's trying to take 2, 3, 4 touches. I think he's just trying to get to his tempo and his level. Once he gets there, I don't think there's going to be anybody that's taking him out of this team at this point in time. It'll be the other positions.
Yeah, what impressed me about him, Ryan, was his ability to ghost into attacking positions. His spatial awareness and his touch and his movement were very good for someone who is ring rusty in terms of the Celtic way of playing. But I thought some of that was with some of his attacking plays. We've got into some good put forward positions, and I liked that about him. And the fact that he always seemed to have time when he was in those positions as well. So early signs, as you say, are looking very good. Alexander Beagrie coming in. Here we go. Indeed, Alexander, there you go. Sean Blease coming in. Good win. Should have been more than 2-0, but well done. Francis Lester sums up how I feel. Evening, Francis, regular contributor. Evening, boys. Good result, not the performance. Correct. But the object of today was to win. I know we've started very, very well. But, as the manager said, they can't all be 3-0, 4-0 and 5-0. Hazel Finn, good evening all. Good evening, Hazel. How are you doing? Regular contributor Francis Grimm along as well. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Francis, to you. How are you? Caroline Grant. Evening, Ryan and Tony. Thank you very much, Caroline. And good evening, says James McMullen. Now, John McInally wanting to know this. Was the man of the match given to the right player? Your thoughts, Ryan? Arne Engels was given the man of the match, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was given the stadium's man of the match, although I do believe that, in my opinion, and I gave them the same rating in the player ratings that are available on the Celtic Way website, but if you were to give one an 8.5, I don't really like doing the 0.5s out of 10. I like full numbers, no decimal points. If it was to give an 8.5, I think it would have been to Cameron Carter-Vickers, especially for some of his interceptions and defensive work in the second half. That was a guy that looked bang on form once again. Hearts player, did Shanklin touch the ball in that game? I think it was. I seen more of Kenneth Vargas, to be honest. He had that one chance that he turned and tried to hit it on the volley, but that was really it. I know he was getting a bit of stick when he came off the park from the Celtic fans, probably due to his allegiances in other places. Maybe more on that next season if he does make that move there. But I just thought Cameron Carter-Vickers was immense today. I thought Scales was good too, but there was a pass at the end that he made that was quite stray that put CCV above Scales for me. I was a bit worried about his form a couple of games ago. I'm not worried anymore. He looks bang at it. He looks totally ready for the season ahead. A real imposing presence at the back, and you can see that the players enjoy playing with him.
Yeah, Francis Lester saying thought Engels was excellent and what a great penalty. It was an excellent penalty. Rio Hitachi originally had the ball, tossed it to Arne Engels, cool as a cucumber, Ryan, no messing, side foot, wrong foot's the goalkeeper, turns him the wrong way. Thomas Burns, Engels quality, he's saying, yep, I think, and John Clemens coming in and saying, you got booked for it, Tony. Yeah, you know that way you doubt yourself when you've seen something. But yeah,
I was the same 2 weeks ago with something, actually, because there was a picture of James Forrest and the player for Rangers, I think it was Agamani, that had his shirt ripped. I was like, that wasn't James Forrest that did that. That was Arne Engels, and I had to double check that it was Engels that got the yellow card in that. Yeah. So yeah, you do second guess yourself, especially when you've only seen things once.
Kevin Dunn first goal in man of the match for Engels, great first start. It wasn't his first start's goal. I think it was decent enough. Charles McBreen, evening trips, evening Charles, how are you? And Hazel Finn saying you just wonder if there are a lot of eyes on Wednesday, but Celtic still won. The manager was talking about Wednesday as well. He's getting excited about it, and players are human. I think the former manager said they're not robots, and I can understand that. John McInally says Kuhn, in his opinion, is going to be the next big money player for Celtic that they'll make big money from. Now, my bugbear with Kuhn today was I thought he was excellent as well. Well, I thought he was really good. When you say excellent, maybe overstating or over-egging that pudding, but Kuhn does know he's allowed to shoot for goal, doesn't he? I mean, a lot of the time he was beating players. He can beat a player all ends up, Brian. Really lovely. And I get that there's that unselfishness and he wants to lay on a plate for teammates, but he should have a pot shot at goal now and again when he cuts inside like that, shouldn't he, Ryan? Well, that's just the way I see it. And I see if he did, he'd have a right potent weapon there because he would probably score.
That's the difference between Coon being like the second coming of Paddy Roberts and not, in my opinion. Is he can do everything that Paddy Roberts does or was able to do at a higher speed than Paddy Roberts may add. Yeah. He is faster. He's a lot faster. Actually, this might be controversial. I gave Coon a 5 out of 10 today. And I thought some of the stuff that he was doing was good, but he's just... I think he's got a real problem.
He picked the wrong pass too many times for me, Ryan, and that's it. But I thought he was decent enough, and he could beat players, but he cut inside a lot and created danger, and then spoiled it by making the wrong choice of pass. And I think the manager might have a word with him and say, "Look, when you're in those positions, be a bit more selfish. Try and be a bit more clinical yourself, and have a go." That would be my only concern with him, if concern's the right word.
Yeah, I just maybe it was down to the second half and he sort of lost all of his effectiveness in the second half and he was taken off in place of, was it James Forrest that came on quite early on in the second half, who I thought looked quite decent, but I just think he needs to learn when to release the ball, whether that's a shot or a pass. Yeah. He holds on to it 2 or 3 seconds, and by then it allows the defense, the opposition defense, to set themselves for whatever's coming. I always think he needs to learn that opportune moment to just release it, whether that's a shot, whether that's a pass. Yeah. And he's got good numbers this season, so it shows you that he's getting in the right positions. But if he can do that, then he could double or treble his numbers. It's there.
He needs to be a wee bit more direct for me, Ryan, in terms of that. Just from what I saw today, Natalie McMullen believes that Nicholas Kuhn was on fire today. It's all about opinions, Natalie. That's fair enough. We're a broad church here. We'll accept that. Good evening, all, says 420 somewhere, regular commenter. Thank you very much, 420 somewhere. And James McMullen says he thought Scales played brilliantly today. JJ McGarvey, gutted for Ida. I was actually gutted for Ida as well. Would have silenced the talk concern about his recent performances. I mean, you're talking, again, marginal. But Chris Murray coming in, evening boys, and good chat, good 3 points. Performance wasn't there. Some players on an off day. Engels looked good. Now looking forward to the Champions League game. Hail, hail, yes, indeed. And Jackie Dillon saying the passing wasn't really up to scratch with some players, and I think some were afraid to shoot, but the international breaks probably had an impact. Celtic won, and that's all that matters. It is indeed 420 somewhere. Job's done, points on the board, roll on Wednesday. Yep, that's it. Brenda Gorman coming in and saying, we got 3 points today, guys. Love the hoops. Come on, you boys in green. And Sean McKenna agreeing. CCV reads the game so well, covers his teammates. A trooper. Yep. Can't speak highly enough of Cameron Carter-Vickers. First couple of games of the season, we just noticed he wasn't at his solid best. But today he was doing everything to protect Kasper Schmeichel from losing a goal, wasn't he, Ryan?
Yeah, I really do enjoy Cameron Carter-Vickers in this team, and it'll be a sad day if he ever does leave the club. I hope if I'm being honest, I want him to spend the rest of his career at Celtic. I'd love him to see out his whole career because he's that good.
That, Ryan?
Well, he might just be happy because he did have a bit of a nomadic career before joining Celtic. Had a lot of loan deals. His first spell at Celtic was a loan deal, of course, but he's found a home. He's found consistency. He's one of the leaders in the dressing room, and it's just performances like today. It's an amazing sort of sight to see a striker or an attacker or winger or whoever's going up against them give up physically. You can see it physically and you can see it mentally. They give up because they know they're not getting anything from Carter-Vickers. There was a point in the second half where I don't know the guy's name that came on as a sub for Hearts, but he was up against Cameron Carter-Vickers, and legally Carter-Vickers wrestles him to the ground, but gets the ball in doing so. He's imperious. He's scary probably for opposition defenders. He's a joy to watch in the hoops at the moment, and I hope he stays for as long as he likes, really, because as long as he's here, then I think Celtic will keep on winning.
Hazel Finn, I agree. Hazel was pleased for Luke McCowan. What a feeling that must have been. Life just can't get any better for young Luke McCowan. I did say that if he went to McDonald's in my instant analysis and he ordered a cheeseburger or a Big Mac, I don't think anybody would grudge him it because he's earned it.
A blind eye to
that. Yeah, instead of the fruit bag that he said he would normally would order. Yeah, but yes, if you want a Big Mac, Luke McCowan, go and get it. You've deserved it this weekend. But man's walking on air, isn't he, Ryan? Just living the dream. And what a cheer he got today, and his face said it all, didn't it? His reaction to scoring his first goal for Celtic, absolutely brilliant. And I have to say, when I spoke to Dave Mackay, the former Dundee assistant, now Dunfermline assistant, he told me that Luke McCowan, bang on the money, said he'll surprise people, he'll score goals, he'll create goals, he'll make a real impact, either coming off the bench or when he starts. And Dave's been proven right in his kind of only second game for the club. So excellent stuff. I was really delighted for Luke McCowan today. And that it's Luke McCowan's world, I guess, and we're all living in it, Ryan, at the minute, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, he's on cloud nine, so I guess we're all on cloud nine with him. I thought the goalkeeping was a bit suspect on that goal. I'll be perfectly honest. If that was Kasper Schmeichel that had saved that, I'm not taking it away from McCowan, because if you don't shoot, you don't score at the end of the day. But he does get a good hand on that, Craig Gordon. He does get a good hand on that, Craig Gordon. He should be saving that. But I'm not complaining. He's not a Celtic goalkeeper anymore. He's a Hearts goalkeeper. He can put it in the back of his own net for all I care. So I'm delighted that was the case. It should have been 3-0 with that Ida goal. So unfortunate, because it was a well-worked goal, arguably one of the best moves of the game. You know, that 1, 2, 3, that's 2 goals in 2 games that have been chopped off due to just Celtic being a wee bit quicker than the opposition's defence.
I have to say, yeah, I thought if either goal had counted, it would have put a better gloss on the scoreline and maybe a reflection of certainly the territorial dominance, maybe not the actual kind of way Celtic played, but still, it's a win's a win, for all that and all that, as they say. We'll take it and we move on. John McAnally's coming on saying, Tony, I mean to suggest this, but having watched Bobo, who do you think's up there? Cameron Carter-Vickers or Bobo? I think they're both of a similar ilk in terms of an intimidating presence. Bobo probably shades it in terms of the fact that he was just a man mountain. But I think Cameron Carter-Vickers is a silkier and more elegant footballer than Bobo Baldé. Bobo had his moments, but you're talking intimidation. Bobo wins every day. Bobo's going to get you. But in terms of actual ability, I think CCV wins that hands down, doesn't he? Bobo had his moments, but he just scared the living daylights out of centre forwards who you see they chucked it in the tunnel. People think they can have a go at Cameron Carter-Vickers. He looks a bit of a take on, but they get no joy, do they? I just think Cameron Carter-Vickers is... I think he is as important to this Celtic defence as Bobo was during his era when he played for Celtic. Very hard to... comparisons are hard. We all do it, but let's put it this way. Whenever I saw Bobo in the team or I see Cameron Carter-Vickers in the team, I'm delighted there's a security blanket there, Ryan, in terms of your defence.
Yeah, I think with Bobo Baldé, it's of his time as well, because defenders weren't really expected to be football players at the same time, or not at the top level. You still had your Cannavaros, your Maldinis, etc. Bobo Baldé was a great defender, no nonsense, would kick the ball out the park if needed, but he would keep he was like a goal line protector almost. He kept the ball from getting to the goalkeeper. Cameron Carter-Vickers is different because he has to play with the ball at his feet. He's the first playmaker on the park. Then again, Kasper Schmeichel likes playing with the ball at his feet now as well, so that's another person to do that. Yeah. But it's different eras and different times. But if you're looking at a better footballer, I think there's only one winner, and it's Carter-Vickers. He is a better footballer than Bobo Baldé, but defensive and intimidation factors come into play back in that bygone era. I don't want to say bygone era because that sounds like it was absolutely ages ago. It was 20 years ago, but the game has changed, and you need to have players like Carter-Vickers that can play with the ball at the back. Bobo couldn't do that, unfortunately. That's just the difference.
My overriding emotion is that defending still an art. It doesn't matter how you do it. Cameron Carter-Vickers is a wee bit more silky and a bit more elegant than Bobo would ever be, but Bobo could still claim to be a defender, and you can argue the toss all day about their merits as footballers. I think, as you say, one guy wins the football side of the game hands down, but it is a different time when Bobo wasn't asked to do too much. Even Martin O'Neill, when he's talking about when he's doing his after dinner stuff or public speaking, he always says that Bobo was signed not to be a footballer. He's just like, give the ball to other guys, Bobo. You just be there, that rock at the back. So, yeah, it's a good question, John. But that's my thoughts. I've told you before about my favourite Celtic defenders. They range from Paul Elliott, but I loved Mark Reaper. I was saddened when he had to give the game up. I just thought Reaper was brilliant, and I really like Reaper. And
I'm quite lucky. I'm quite lucky in that sense that my favourite Celtic defender actually plays for Celtic at the moment. And Carter-Vickers. No, Carter-Vickers. Okay. Yeah, he's the best defender I've ever seen at Celtic since I've grown up watching them.
Yeah.
He's just that good. I know Van Dijk was brilliant, but Van Dijk then became the player at Liverpool through playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
No, he didn't change that much, but he did it at a higher level. Carter-Vickers for me he's the reason why Celtic are winning so many trophies at this moment in time. From the failed 10 season to now, I think the reason why Celtic have won so many trophies is because Carter-Vickers is at the back. He's that important.
When I think of Cameron Carter-Vickers, and I wrote about it at the time, but that performance he gave at Hampden was one for the ages.
That was a gladiator's performance.
Just like, none shall pass. So that'll always stick out to me. John McInally saying his big toe. Yes, Mark Reaper had to give up the game because of his big toe. So he got a toe injury, yeah. But I thought he was a right elegant defender in the kind of Alan Hansen mould. I would say Reaper, and I just liked him. And I don't normally migrate towards defenders. It's usually attackers, wingers, or centre forwards that your old dad likes. Sometimes the odd midfielder.
We've got that balance because I'm midfielders.
Yeah, with the exception of Diego Armando Maradona, of course, who was attacking midfielders, to be fair, but that's just me. But there you go. But yeah, George Cannon coming in and saying Cameron Carter-Vickers is a silent assassin.
Yeah,
I love what
that's why I like him.
Brought to the team. That's what I say. I think centre forwards think he's a take on, and they think they're going to get joy from him, and then they go up against him and they quickly learn, nah, this isn't happening. And he can stroll it at times, but I mean, and he likes the whole physical combat as well, and he can read situations, and he makes other players better. He's made many partners who have played alongside him better. Starfelt being one, Scales being another, and you always feel comfortable as long as it's Cameron Carter-Vickers and another at central defence. You feel good whenever you see that. Nearly 400 people joining us live at 8:15 on a Saturday night after Celtic have beaten Hearts 2-0. Guys, thank you so much. We genuinely appreciate it. We're doing it. It's a labour of love, and it's all in a day's work for Ryan and myself. But we appreciate the fact that you guys are giving up your Saturday nights to join us live on the stream. So thank you. Appreciate that. Anything else catch your eye today, Ryan? Or you just, I know people say, in terms of preparation for Champions League, Celtic will need to up it a few gears, won't they? Come Wednesday night.
Yeah, I think they'll just use that as a warm-up game today. To be honest with you, that'll be their warm-up. And I don't mean that. Yeah, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way towards Hearts, because I actually thought they put in one of their better performances of the season, especially in their defending. They actually looked quite resolute for a lot of the game today. I thought in particular. And I was impressed with him in the first game of the season. I thought he did a really good job against Daisen Maeda. I thought Gerald Taylor had a really good game against Maeda. He kept him very, very quiet. And he's clearly an athlete. definitely a rough diamond, but there's a diamond in there for Hearts. I know they've only got him on loan. They'll probably sign him permanently when the next can, or when they can afford to do so. But I thought he had a really good game. I thought both G Taylors had a good game at Celtic Park today, both Greg and Gerald Taylor. But Greg Taylor again had another solid showing. But he's been solid all season, and he deserves his flowers when they come.
Yeah. Francis Leicester, did anyone believe we would have played 5 games, including our rivals Hearts and Hibs, and still not lost a goal? I think we all hoped, Francis, because I think we all had high hopes for Kasper Schmeichel with that seamless transition that we were talking about earlier. But my goodness, it's went as well as it could have gone today. So, and Holly Kingston coming in saying, I think we need to be on it from the first to last whistle. Can't take Bratislava for granted. Completely, Holly. I don't think the manager will allow that. Having said that, he hasn't turned his attention or focus to Slovan Bratislava until today. He did admit he's watched them a couple of times, so he has been doing his homework, Holly. Don't you worry about that. But I agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. That I don't know. I just think Wednesday night will be just one of those different games. The atmosphere will be incredible. Celtic Park will be jumping. It felt a bit flat today to me for some reason. I don't know what it was like actually being there, Ryan, but I think maybe because Celtic didn't get that quick fire start that they're used to getting. And if Kyogo scores, I think that would have raised everything and it might have been completely different. But I think Wednesday night, it's a different kettle of fish. It's a new tournament format. Going to embrace that. And I think the Celtic supporters, to a man, woman and child, will be up for this so much. I mean, the excitement's building already. I can't wait myself.
Yeah, I say it every time that Celtic play in Europe, but it takes care of itself. Celtic Park always takes care of itself on a European night. It's going to be a mad crowd, a full 60,000. Even though it's not like a massive tie in terms of the names. I know Celtic are a massive team in Europe, Slovan Bratislava. I think there's still that new excitement because it's a game that a lot of people expect Celtic to get a good result in. Get a couple of goals, maybe definitely get a win, but win by a couple of goals would be good as well for the goal difference, especially with the difficult games coming away from home and the coming fixtures. But yeah, I'm just really excited to sample that atmosphere on Wednesday. It's going to be a great night. I think now all the buzz will be there towards that game. Looking forward to seeing Celtic back on the Europeans' top table and part of the new format, as you quite rightly said. And it's a real chance. Celtic won the last game of the group stages. It's about time Celtic go and win the first game of this new league format. That'd be a good thing. Celtic won the last game that they played in the Champions League, albeit it was a dead rubber, but it was a great last minute win against Feyenoord. So let's start as you mean to go on and continue the way you mean to go on against Bratislava. It's a perfect first game in the Champions League on paper, but as we all know, as you and I know especially, games aren't won on paper, they're won on the pitch.
Yeah. No more tourist attraction, Ryan. Let's Fortress. Get this, correct. Let's get Celtic Park for, buzzing for the right reasons, as they say. So I'm all for that. Can't wait for Wednesday night to come along. I think Celtic are, there's an expectancy there, Ryan. There's going to be there's going to be a burden on Celtic to win. They're going to have to cope with that, and we shall see what happens. But yeah, I firmly believe that Celtic have got the capabilities to go out there and get a decent result, Ryan.
Yeah, they've got to, and they will be the favourites going into the game because first of all they're at home, second of all they're coming up against a pot 4 team, a team that don't have a massive European history. I'm sure they've taken part in games before. You would maybe need to correct me on that for games further back, but I know that Celtic have played against Media Bratislava, but I don't think have they actually played against Slovan before.
Yes, they have played against Slovan Bratislava. I believe it was in the 60s. 60. I'd be lying if I said I knew the year.
Are they in Kevin McKenna's Axis of Evil? No,
they're not. But they have played them before. I think it was in the Cup Winners' Cup.
Yeah, I can hear you typing it.
Yeah, I'm just
good man.
I'm just trying to remember when it was, but it's definitely in the 60s. I I'm sure of that. I'm sure our good friend Steve McGraw, Art Media, the least said about Art Media, the better. So yes, it's not what we want to be talking about, because Celtic lost 5-0 and then won 4-0 at Celtic Park, but couldn't bring it back. Unfortunately, Gordon Strachan's first game in charge, I believe, Ryan.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I seem to remember watching that abroad actually on holiday, and being quite shocked at the scoreline. You know, it was a new era. I know there was a bit of downsizing going on. You know, big contracts had to be not torn up but renegotiated with players. But it was a different time, a different period, and even they still had a good team, and they managed to get beat. Was it? Did you say 5-0? It was.
Celtic got beat
5-0
and
five.
won
My
4-0 in the return at Celtic
Mm.
Park. But it was too little, too late.
There's a couple of really there's a couple of familiar faces. Father and son duo we were talking about before the game. We've got the infamous Vladimir Weiss, who definitely nailed his colours to the mast in his time in Glasgow 10 or so years ago. I think he's 34, 35 now. Good goal scoring record by all accounts at Slovan Bratislava. He seems to follow his dad wherever he goes in football, because his dad's the manager of Slovan Bratislava. So be a father-son duo. All the more reason for Celtic to beat.
Ryan, 1964, Celtic played Slovan Bratislava in the European Cup Winners' Cup, and they won 1-0 in both legs, so 2-0 in aggregate. I knew I had 64 in my head. I didn't want to say it in case I was wrong, because somebody would have corrected me, but I knew it was a European Cup Winners' Cup. But yeah, they played Slovan Bratislava before, triumphed over them. Art Media Bratislava is one of those names that give you goosebumps in the wrong way when you shudder when you say the name. But yeah, they weren't on the axis of evil. Kevin and myself was tuning into that over the weekend, or whenever Ryan puts it up on that's the Grand Old Team episode 7, Racing Club of Argentina, Atletico Madrid, and Rapid Vienna being the axis of evil. You'll enjoy that. We had a bit of fun with that as well. So all good. Anthony Aitken saying, watch the Huddle Doc, it's class.
I've only watched 20 minutes of it. Watched 20 minutes of it. I fell asleep last night watching it. Not because it was boring, but because I was watching it about 3 a.m. and I fell asleep. You know, but the 20 minutes I did watch, you can see why the players want to run through walls for Brendan Rodgers. He is on top of his game. Yes, there are, you know what you're getting with Brendan Rodgers in some of his press conferences and some of his team talks, but I think that's the magic of him as well. You've got to have him all in all or none at all. And I'm quite happy that he's the manager of Celtic at this moment in time.
We move on to Wednesday, Ryan. The first of 3 games in 8 days has been successfully negotiated. Got the result, maybe not the performance we wanted. We'll allow them that with the international break et al. And players. Arne Engels gets his Celtic career off to a flyer. Wonderful penalty, and Luke McCowan can do no wrong. He is somewhere in the clouds at this minute in time. Mm-hmm. Delighted for him.
Cloud 67.
Family, brilliant. Tremendous stuff. And I think he'll have a big part to play in Celtic's future. And good luck to the young man. Tremendous. Well, say young man, he's 26. I think that's a year younger than you, Ryan, isn't it?
1996, did you say?
No, he's 26.
That's 26. Yes, I'm 27 now. I turned 27 last week. So
a year younger than you. Yes, you.
I don't like this, Tony. I don't like this when players are younger than me. It was already bad enough when Kara Dembele was like 12 when he came on for Celtic or whatever. But now the majority of players are younger than me, so it's a bit scunning. But at the same time, I'm used to it.
But speaking of being young, one of us guys is going out tonight. Troops, I'll let you figure out which one that is. Me being 52 and young Ryan being 27, you've got a rough idea who's...
Tony, get to your bed early tonight after that.
Yes. I need all the beauty sleep I can get, especially before Wednesday. Indeed. But Ryan, thank you. What a shift today. I wouldn't say you enjoyed today, but Celtic got the result. They got the job done, didn't they?
I did always enjoy a win. I think I need to underline that point. Always enjoy a win, but for me, I just strive for perfection, and I was really excited coming into this game. But I still think that performance is there. I think it could come on Wednesday or next Sunday. That's something to look forward to. They're keeping their goals. That's what I'm saying. They're keeping their goals for Wednesday or next Sunday.
I'd love to see it on Wednesday. Guys, thank you very much. About 450 people joining us. Francis Gribbon along saying, thanks, guys. Appreciate it, Francis. Thank you. I'll let that young man go and do whatever he's got to do on his night out tonight. But look after yourself, sir. Take it easy. And we shall see you all again on Monday when we'll revisit this, but we'll ramp it up big time. Get the Champions League music. Zadok's the priest dusted down, Ryan. Champions League football's coming around. The Champions League phase, the inaugural league phase. Can't wait. Holly Kingston, lovely show, lads. Always a pleasure listening, contributing. Stay safe, Tony Ryan. Thanks very much. That's very, very kind. Take it easy. Ryan, have a wonderful night out, and I shall see you on Monday, young man.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much for joining us.